Corneal crosslinking is a treatment for so-called ectatic eye diseases such as keratoconus. The characteristic feature of this group of diseases is the gradual deterioration of eyesight, often progressing to legal blindness. This destructive process results from a weakening of the eye tissue that causes the cornea to bulge and become thinner. Oftentimes, corneal transplantation, with all its related risks and problems, remains the only viable solution to preserve vision. Corneal crosslinking is a treatment option that is able to stop the progression to blindness in a significant number of cases. Unfortunately, the corneal crosslinking devices currently in use have major limitations and drawbacks, which result in treatment failures and reduced effectiveness. Therefore, in many cases, the disease progresses despite crosslinking treatment. These shortcomings are successfully overcome by the internationally patented KERALUX Crosslinking technology. The KERALUX device received CE mark approval as a medical device in the European Union in 2018. It is already in clinical use with excellent results. So what exactly are the drawbacks of conventional crosslinking treatment methods, and how are treatment failures resolved by the KERALUX technology? Let us start with the conventional technology. To be able to understand the procedure, we need to take a brief look at the characteristics of the disease and how the crosslinking procedure works to provide effective treatment. It is a precondition for good eyesight that the cornea of the eye has a stable and regular shape. In keratoconus, the corneal tissue weakens and becomes thinner over time. It loses its stability, resulting in an irregular shape and consequently in significant loss of vision. Corneal crosslinking aims to strengthen the corneal tissue and stops the progression of the disease towards vision loss. To strengthen the corneal tissue as desired, we need to interconnect the collagen fibers, which are the key structural elements responsible for the mechanical strength of the tissue. Treatment is performed in 2 steps. In step number 1, riboflavin, a photoreactive substance, is applied to the cornea via eye drops. In step number 2, riboflavin is then activated inside the cornea by applying a certain dose of UVA radiation. This causes the collagen fibers to interconnect and strengthens the corneal tissue. The key limitations and shortcomings of conventional crosslinking mainly relate to step number 2 of the procedure, where UVA radiation is applied to the cornea. So what exactly are the problems related to conventional crosslinking? Conventional devices irradiate the cornea via a free radiation path. In order to achieve an effective treatment, a clearly defined irradiation energy of 54 millijoules per square millimeter, this is 5.4 joules per square centimeter, has to be transferred to every single point of the corneal surface. During the procedure, the patient is told to fixate the emitting light source with the eye to be treated. This usually lasts between 10 and 30 minutes. It is obvious that eye and head movements cannot be avoided over such a time span, and along with these eye and head movements, also the position and distance of the eye in relation to the light source tends to vary. This is of course of particular importance as the cornea is not flat but curved, and the curvature of a keratoconic eye is extremely irregular. Due to these corneal irregularities in combination with the eye and head movements, corneal irradiation becomes highly variable and undefined throughout the treatment procedure. Anxious or uncooperative patients and children can therefore not be treated by conventional crosslinking, not even under general anesthesia, where the patient would not be able to fixate the light source as required. Even if the eye or head were not to move at all, the irregular shape of a keratoconic eye would still cause the conventional crosslinking procedure to fail. The reason why this treatment method fails is that at every point across the corneal surface, the UVA light strikes the cornea under a different angle. This becomes clear when looking at how a solar panel on a rooftop works. In order to get the maximum output of electric current from such a solar panel, the effective area of that panel must be adjusted at the right angle facing the sun. When the sun's rays hit the panel surface under a narrower angle, the energy transferred to the solar panel by the sunlight is smaller than if the solar panel was facing the sun at a 90-degree angle. The same is true for UVA radiation of the cornea during the conventional crosslinking procedure, because the cornea is curved and the irradiation angle with the cornea varies from point to point. So even without any eye and head movements, it is impossible to irradiate the entire corneal surface with the right amount of energy. The solution to all these problems is KERALUX. KERALUX is the first corneal treatment technology that avoids all the treatment failures previously mentioned. These failures always result from eye and head movements, as well as from the curvature and shape of the cornea. In contrast to conventional crosslinking, KERALUX does not use a free irradiation path. This new technology uses an irradiation channel, which is mounted on the eye with a simple suction ring. The UV light source now moves in sync with the eye, and so eye and head movements no longer impair the treatment outcome. KERALUX is a very small device based on the latest microelectronic and microcomputer technology. In order to avoid an adverse treatment outcome resulting from the curvature and the steep irregular shape of the cornea, the KERALUX irradiation channel has an inner lining which diffusely reflects the UVA light along the path between the light source and the cornea. This ensures that the UV light strikes the cornea from virtually all directions, and so the shape of the cornea does not influence the treatment outcome. The amount of irradiation energy transferred to the cornea by KERALUX is always precisely the same at every single point of the cornea, namely 54 millijoules per square millimeter, regardless of the patient's eye or head movement, and regardless of the curvature variations of each individual cornea. Besides its important medical benefits over conventional crosslinking, KERALUX has a number of further major advantages. The device is designed and approved for single use as a disposable device, so there is no investment involved, and the device can be ordered by doctors online and will be delivered within 1 or 2 days. Unlike conventional devices, KERALUX is small enough to be easily carried in the pocket of one's trousers, and is therefore suited for use even in out-of-hospital and out-of-practice environments. Since each device is for one eye only, a doctor who orders 2 KERALUX devices can easily treat both eyes of a patient at the same time. And in larger clinics, numerous cross-linking procedures may be performed simultaneously, which is a great way to save time as well as costs. The treatment is also suited for simple settings such as a private practice, and can be easily performed even by healthcare staff under the doctor's supervision.